Fantasy worlds captivate us. They offer escape. They promise adventure. These realms are filled with endless possibilities, where the boundaries of reality are stretched and the imagination knows no limits. We long to explore these fantastical realms, to walk through enchanted forests, to embark on quests that challenge our courage and wit. We crave encounters with mythical creatures, unicorns, dragons, and other beings that defy the ordinary and bring magic into our lives. These creatures ignite our imaginations. They inspire stories, art, and dreams that transport us to places where anything is possible. They teach us about ourselves. Through their stories, we learn about bravery, fear, love, and loss. From dragons to elves, fantasy creatures have populated our stories for centuries. They are woven into the fabric of our cultural heritage. Where did these beings originate? How did they come to be such an integral part of our storytelling traditions? How did they become integral to our collective imagination? These questions lead us on a journey through history and mythology. This essay delves into the origins of fantasy creatures. We will uncover the roots of these beings in ancient myths and legends. We will explore their journey from ancient myths to modern-day media, how they have evolved and adapted to remain relevant in our contemporary world. These creatures, both wondrous and terrifying, reflect our hopes and fears. They are mirrors of our deepest desires and darkest anxieties. They embody our dreams and nightmares. Through them, we confront the unknown and the extraordinary. By understanding their origins, we gain a deeper appreciation for the power of fantasy. It shapes our world, influences our culture, and enriches our lives with wonder and possibility. Many fantasy creatures have roots in ancient mythology and folklore. These stories, passed down through generations, provided explanations for the unknown. They served as cautionary tales. They expressed humanity's deepest fears and aspirations. Dragons, for example, appear in myths across the globe. They embody power, both destructive and awe-inspiring. Elves and fairies, often associated with nature, represent the beauty and danger of the wild. These early stories laid the foundation for the fantasy creatures we know today. They provided a rich tapestry of inspiration for writers, artists, and storytellers. Dragons are perhaps the most iconic of all fantasy creatures. Their majestic forms and mythical powers have captured human imagination for centuries. Their imagery pervades cultures across the world, from the east to the west, each with its own unique interpretation and symbolism. They inspire both fear and fascination, embodying the duality of nature's beauty and its potential for destruction. In Western mythology, dragons are typically depicted as fire-breathing beasts. They hoard treasure, often amassing vast amounts of gold and jewels. They terrorize villages, leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. These fearsome creatures are often slain by valiant knights, who are celebrated as heroes for their bravery and strength. Think of Smaug from J.R.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit, a dragon whose greed and malice make him a formidable foe. Or the fearsome dragon from the Anglo-Saxon epic Beowulf, a creature that embodies the ultimate challenge for the hero. These stories have shaped our understanding of dragons in Western culture. Eastern dragons, however, are often seen as benevolent beings. They are revered and respected, not feared. They are associated with wisdom, prosperity, and good fortune. These dragons are seen as protectors and bringers of blessings. They control the elements, bringing rain and wind, essential for agriculture and life. Consider the Chinese dragon a symbol of imperial power and good luck. It is a central figure in festivals and celebrations, embodying the spirit of the people. Despite their differences, both Eastern and Western dragons share a common thread. They are powerful symbols that reflect the cultures from which they originate. They represent the raw power of nature, capable of both nurturing and destroying. They embody the potential for both destruction and creation, reminding us of the delicate balance that exists in the world. Whether feared or revered, dragons continue to captivate our imaginations and inspire countless stories and legends. Elves and fairies inhabit the realm of nature. They are often depicted as ethereal beings. They possess magical powers. Elves, tall and graceful, are often associated with forests and archery. They are known for their wisdom and longevity. Think of Legolas, the skilled archer from Tolkien's. Fairies, small and mischievous, are often associated with flowers and woodlands. They are known for their enchanting music and love of trickery. These creatures embody our fascination with the natural world. They represent its beauty, its mystery, and its potential dangers. From page to screen. Fantasy creatures in popular culture, literature, film, and television have played a pivotal role in shaping our perception of fantasy creatures. These mediums bring these beings to life, allowing us to experience their wonder and terror firsthand. J.R.R. Tolkien, with his epic, is credited with popularizing modern fantasy. His meticulously crafted world, Middle-earth, is populated by a vast array of creatures. These creatures have become archetypes in the genre. J.K. Rowling's series introduced a new generation to magical creatures. From house elves to hippogriffs, Rowling's creations captured the imaginations of millions. Tolkien's enduring legacy, Middle-earth and beyond. J.R.R. Tolkien's influence on fantasy cannot be overstated. His epic trilogy, published between 1954 and 1955, became a global phenomenon. It sparked a renewed interest in fantasy literature. Tolkien drew heavily on mythology, folklore, and his linguistic expertise to create the world of Middle-earth. He populated this world with a complex cast of characters, including hobbits, elves, dwarves, orcs, and dragons. Tolkien's work has had a profound impact on subsequent fantasy writers. His influence can be seen in countless books, films, and video games. The magical world of Harry Potter. J.K. Rowling's series captured the imaginations of millions worldwide. The books introduced a new generation to the wonders of fantasy with relatable characters and imaginative creatures. Rowling's magical world is populated by a diverse array of creatures, including house elves, centaurs, unicorns, and dragons. Each creature possesses its own unique abilities and cultural significance within the wizarding world. The series demonstrated the enduring appeal of fantasy creatures and showed how these creatures can be used to explore complex themes, including prejudice, tolerance, and the battle between good and evil. George R.R. Martin's series, adapted into the popular HBO show, brought fantasy to a wider audience. The series features a complex cast of characters. It also features morally grey situations and epic battles. Martin's world is populated by creatures such as dragons, direwolves, and the enigmatic children of the forest. These creatures are not merely fantastical elements, they are integral to the plot. They drive the narrative forward. The popularity of highlights the enduring appeal of fantasy creatures. It shows how these creatures can be used to create compelling stories. These stories resonate with audiences on a global scale. Video games have become a dominant form of entertainment. They have also become a powerful medium for exploring fantasy worlds and their inhabitants. Games like Series allow players to immerse themselves in rich fantasy settings. Players can interact with a vast array of creatures. These games often draw inspiration from mythology, folklore, and classic fantasy literature. They also contribute to the evolution of fantasy creatures. They introduce new interpretations. They expand on existing lore. Why are we so drawn to fantasy creatures? Perhaps it is because they allow us to tap into a sense of wonder. This is something that can be lost in our everyday lives. Fantasy creatures remind us of the power of imagination. They offer a form of escapism. They allow us to explore different worlds and possibilities. These creatures also serve as mirrors to our own humanity. They embody our virtues and our vices. They reflect our fears and aspirations. By studying these creatures, we can learn about ourselves and the world around us. From ancient myths to modern-day media, fantasy creatures have captured our imaginations for centuries. These beings, whether they are dragons, unicorns, or phoenixes, have been a part of our collective consciousness, symbolizing our deepest fears, hopes, and dreams. They have evolved over time, transforming with each retelling and reinterpretation. As our societies have changed, so too have the creatures that populate our stories, reflecting the values and concerns of each era. They have adapted to different cultures and storytelling mediums, from the oral traditions of ancient tribes to the digital animations of today. These creatures have found new ways to enchant us, bridging the gap between the past and the present. But their ability to fascinate and inspire remains as strong as ever. Whether through books, movies, or games, these mythical beings continue to captivate audiences of all ages, sparking creativity and wonder. As we continue to explore new frontiers, both in our imaginations and in the real world, we can be sure that fantasy creatures will continue to play a vital role in our storytelling. They help us to envision the impossible and to dream beyond the boundaries of our reality. They will continue to challenge our perceptions, pushing us to question what we know and to explore the unknown. These creatures often serve as metaphors for the challenges we face in our own lives, encouraging us to confront our fears and to grow. They will continue to shape our dreams, providing a canvas for our imaginations to run wild. In these fantastical worlds, we find the freedom to explore new ideas and to envision a better future. These creatures are not merely figments of our imagination, they are symbols of our innermost thoughts and emotions, representing the complexities of the human experience. They are reflections of ourselves, embodying our strengths, weaknesses, and everything in between. Through them, we can explore different facets of our identity and gain a deeper understanding of who we are. They are testaments to the power of storytelling. Through the tales we weave, we pass down knowledge, values, and traditions from one generation to the next, ensuring that these mythical beings remain a vibrant part of our cultural heritage. They remind us that the world is a magical place, full of wonder and mystery. Even in our modern, technology-driven society, there is still room for magic and enchantment. We just need to know where to look. By keeping our minds open and our hearts curious, we can continue to find magic in the world around us, just as our ancestors did. Mermaids have long captured the human imagination, appearing in folklore and mythology across cultures. These aquatic beings, often depicted as having the upper body of a human and the tail of a fish, are both enchanting and mysterious. From the sirens of Greek mythology to the mermaids of Hans Christian Andersen's tales, their stories are filled with beauty, danger, and allure. In this chapter, we dive deep into the origins, legends, and cultural impact of mermaids, exploring how they have evolved over time and continue to fascinate us today. The earliest mentions of mermaids date back to ancient Assyria, where the goddess Atargatis transformed into a mermaid out of shame for accidentally killing her human lover. These mythological beings were often associated with perilous events and disasters, such as shipwrecks and drownings, yet they also symbolized the unknown depths of the ocean and the mysteries it held. As we explore the sirens of Greek mythology, we find that these creatures were not always depicted as mermaids. Originally envisioned as bird-like beings, sirens evolved into the more familiar mermaid form, luring sailors to their doom with their enchanting songs. This transformation highlights the adaptability of mythological creatures, reshaping themselves to fit the narratives of different cultures and eras. In the Middle Ages, mermaids were often depicted in a more negative light, symbolizing temptation and sin. They appeared in bestiaries and religious texts, warning of the dangers of succumbing to earthly desires. This portrayal continued into the Renaissance, where mermaids were featured in art and literature as both seductive and perilous beings. However, the perception of mermaids began to shift with the advent of the Romantic era. Hans Christian Andersen's The Little Mermaid presented a more sympathetic and tragic view of these creatures, emphasizing themes of love, sacrifice, and longing. This story has since been adapted into various forms, most notably Disney's animated film, which further softened the mermaid's image into a more family-friendly character. Today, mermaids continue to captivate our imaginations, appearing in books, movies, and even as popular costume choices. They symbolize both the allure and danger of the unknown, the beauty of the ocean, and the mysteries that lie beneath its surface. They remind us of our deep connection to water, an element essential to life, and our fascination with the creatures that inhabit its depths. Mermaids, like many other mythical beings, have evolved over time, reflecting the changing values and concerns of society. From ancient goddesses to modern-day icons, these enigmatic beings continue to inspire wonder and curiosity, reminding us of the magic that still exists in our world. As we conclude our journey through the world of fantasy creatures, we are reminded of the power of storytelling and the enduring appeal of these mythical beings. They challenge us to dream, to imagine, and to explore the unknown, enriching our lives with their timeless tales.